and welcome to episode 18 of Learn English with Photos. My name is Jeffrey Hill and I'm going to be using some photos I've taken to help you improve your English vocabulary and practice your speaking skills. In episode 5 of Learn English with Photos, I showed some photos of typical high street shops and explained the plays on words and references which are used in their names. In this episode, I'm going to do the same thing, but with a different set of shops. As usual, in the final part of the lesson, you'll have the chance to answer some questions about the topic. First up is a pet shop called the Dog House, which sells a variety of domesticated animals, and also pet supplies such as food and accessories. Of course, a dog is a popular pet, but if you are in the dog house, you're in trouble because someone is mad at you. For example, John ended up in the dog house after forgetting his wife's birthday. Face Value is an appropriate name for a shop which sells eyewear and cosmetics, but if you take something at face value, you believe that it is what it appears to be without questioning it. For example, you shouldn't take anything she says at face value. The place for fish and chips is a fish and chip shop in my hometown of Plymouth. If you heard the name spoken aloud, you would almost certainly think that the second word was spelled P-L-A-C-E, but the spelling has been changed to P-L-A-I-C-E because place spelt this way is a type of flat sea fish which is very popular in the UK. In fact, place, P-L-A-I-C-E, and place, P-L-A-C-E, are what are called homophones, words which have the same pronunciation but which are spelt differently. So Enchanting is another example of a shop name which uses a homophone. If you heard the name rather than seeing it written, you would no doubt think that the first word was spelt S-O. But since the shop sells sewing machines and accessories, the spelling has been changed to Sew, S-E-W. By the way, an old-fashioned name for a shop which sells small articles for sewing, for example needles, pins, cottons and buttons, is a haberdashery. The original upper crust bakery features a play on words. The crust is the hard outer surface of a loaf of bread, but the term upper crust is used to describe people who belong to the highest social class. For example, Jack the Ripper was believed by some to be a member of the upper crust. The name gives the bakery an upmarket image. Smartpants is a dry cleaners in Portsmouth, UK. A Smartpants is a person who thinks they are very clever and likes to show people this in an annoying way. In fact, the shop name would be more appropriate in the USA, where they use the word pants to mean trousers. In the UK, pants are what men wear under their trousers, not the sort of garment one usually has dry cleaned. This cafe cum restaurant is called Mixed Fillings. The usual expression is mixed feelings, with a double E. If you have mixed feelings about something, you feel both pleased and not pleased about it at the same time. They've changed feelings to fillings because fillings are what you put inside a sandwich, cake, pie, etc., which are the sort of thing they sell here. However, you might argue that for someone to have mixed feelings about the cafe is not a particularly desirable sentiment from the cafe's point of view. Her cuts is a jokey play on the word haircuts, which are what ladies and gentlemen come to this hairdresser for. Herr is the German equivalent of Mr, and Katz sounds like it could be a German name. I'm not sure whether the hairdresser is in fact German, probably not. Note that a gents hairdresser is also called a barber, a profession traditionally associated with the red and white striped pole you can see in the window on the right. High and Mighty is a shop which specialises in clothing for big or tall men, sizes 9 to 15 it says in the window. High and Mighty is also a fixed expression used to describe someone who behaves as though they are more important than other people, as in, she's much too high and mighty to mix with ordinary people like us. Note that you should not use high to refer to people who are above average height. You should say he's very tall, not he's very high. You can describe a mountain or building as high though. Sweatshop, which describes itself as the nation's favourite running retailer, sells shoes, clothing and accessories for people who go running. Now, when you run, you are likely to sweat or perspire, so the name makes sense on one level. But sweatshop is also a term for any working environment considered to be unacceptably difficult or dangerous. The name clearly plays on that association, which is slightly surprising since the connotations are almost entirely negative. Note that the slogan "We know running" means we know about running, as opposed to we know how to run. Chiropody is one of the UK's leading total foot care providers. Their stores offer a unique combination of footwear, foot care and podiatry, all under one roof. As you may have guessed, I took that description from their website. Their name is a mashup of shoe and chiropody, chiropody being the area of medicine that deals with people's feet. The use of two different colours on the shop sign gives you a clue as to the name's origin. Americandy is a sweet shop or confectionery shop. The name Americandy is a blend of the words American and candy, candy being the American word for sweets. Do you see the slogan, "It's fabulicious," on the sign? Fabulicious isn't a word you'll find in the dictionary. It's a made-up word combining fabulous and delicious. The Whole Hog is a shop in Lyme Regis, Dorset, which sells specialty roast sandwiches. In fact, they just have two types of sandwich, roast pork and apple, and roast chicken and stuffing. Hog is another word for pig, which is where we get pork from, but the name also references an English saying. If someone goes the whole hog, they do something as completely as possible. For example, if you're redecorating one room, why not go the whole hog and paint the entire house? Down to Earth is a shop selling organic and natural products in Dorchester, also in the county of Dorset. If you describe someone as down to earth, you mean that they are practical and sensible. The word earth also has associations with the environment in nature, which explains the play on words. Cheery Buys is a discount store in Plymouth. A discount store is a shop which sells products at prices lower than those asked by traditional retail outlets. The name Cheery Buys is a play on the English expression cheery bye, which is an informal British English alternative to goodbye or cheerio. Buy, B-U-Y, and buy, B-Y-E, are homophones, same pronunciation, different meanings. And cheery means happy. Note that buy is used here as a noun, meaning something that you buy. Rice Up Whole Foods sells local, organic and fair trade food products. The name is a play on the expression rise up, though rice, the grain, and rise, the verb, are not pronounced in exactly the same way. To rise up is to rebel or revolt against authority. This fits in with the store's logo, a raised fist full of rice, which resembles a Black Power salute, without the rice of course. The final shop is a coffee house called Brighter Latte, once again in Dorchester. The name is a play on Brighter Later, the title of an album recorded in 1970 by British folk singer-songwriter Nick Drake. They've just changed later to latte, which is a type of coffee made with milk. The album title was already a pun on an expression used in weather forecasts, but spelt B-R-I-G-H-T-E-R L-A-T-E-R. I'm not sure why they chose this name for the coffee shop. Perhaps it's the type of music they play in the shop, or maybe the owner just likes Nick Drake. Right, that's enough shop names. Let's move on to the next part of the lesson, where you get to do some speaking. I'm going to ask you a series of questions relating to shops and shopping. I suggest you pause the video to give yourself time to answer. And don't just reply with yes or no. Try to make your answers as detailed as possible. Okay, let's begin. Question 1. What does it take to make a shop successful? Question 2. Do you think that there is a future for small shops like the ones in this video? Why or why not? Question 3. What is something that you have bought recently that was a good bargain? Question 4. What is something that you have bought recently that cost a lot of money? Question 5. Do you like buying presents for people? Why or why not? Question 6. Napoleon described England as a nation of shopkeepers. What do you think he meant by that? Question 7. Give an example of something that you regret buying. Question 8. What's your opinion of organic foods? Question 9. What impact has online shopping had on high street retailers? And question 10. What's your favourite shop and why? Right, that's the end of this lesson. I hope you found it useful, and I look forward to working with you again on another episode of Learn English with Photos.